Andersen.
What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to channel Andersen and welcome to today's video. For those that have been following along, you guys know we pulled the engine out of the red C55 here, the Mars Red C55. That we unfortunately caused, a bit of a accident. You can see the crack here when we were going to install our manual transmission. We had everything done, ready to go. Last bit of the puzzle, pretty much, putting in the transmission, and got a little bit overzealous, a little bit anxious, and just noofed it, absolutely noofed it. So, oh well, making lemonade out of it. We are replacing our oil pan, thank God. That's the only thing that got hurt with it. So we are gonna do that, and this is the video for it. Basically, what we're gonna do, tearing down this motor, and what I have planned while it's out. Simple task, or not simple task, but simple terms of what we're gonna do is oil pan, both of them, lower and upper, will have to come off. Both of them will obviously be resealed. And then while we're in there on the bottom, we're gonna replace the O-ring for the oil pump, which is kind of a common failure point. I honestly think it's a bit overhyped. I know it does happen, but I think it's more of a problem on the compressor motors and very high mileage or kind of abused things that have been run hot a lot have a higher chance of that O-ring being tired out. But also just mileage and age play a part too. So I'm curious to see what type of condition it's in. Some of them have updated ones that are already like the green Viton. Some of them are black rubber. So we'll see what it ends up being, but I have them, so we're gonna do it. There's another O-ring in the front timing cover. And this is upside down, so you guys are probably thinking, what the heck is going on here? But there's another O-ring behind the front cover, timing cover, that is responsible for separating oil and coolant. I'm not sure if I'm going down the rabbit hole with that one, just because crank pulley's got to come off. That's an insane torque spec for that thing. And just overall, I don't know if I'm going to do it. I don't know. I'm torn about it, to be honest. Many of you guys have told me to do it, and I know I probably could or should easily here, but I don't know. I think what I'm going to plan to do is do the upper and lower oil pans and the O-ring for the oil pump, get those back seated, installed, flip the motor over, and take off the water pump, because you can actually see that O-ring through the water pump. And then I'll kind of make the call on it. That would mean basically I'd have to redo the upper part of our seal here for the oil pan, but I think it would be okay, but I don't know. Anyways, the first things first, I got to get this oil pan off. So that's what I'm going to set you guys up for. Put you guys on the tripod. We'll just jam out for a little bit, and I'll time lapse you guys on this job of getting these off. Basics of it are, it looks like these are E10s, I would guess here. It looks like it. And we're gonna need to zip all of these off. I don't know if they're different sizes yet. I'll tell you guys. Obviously, I'm sure some of them are gonna be, and I don't know, there might be some living inside once we get the upper pan off. Now, key bit of detail for you here: when you want to break the seals on these, don't try to pry up everywhere on the pan, because you might end up cracking the pan trying to get it off. So there's two things I'm gonna do. A, I'm going to heat this up really good before I try to do anything. And then B, just jam on it, I guess. That's all we got to do. We'll get to everything as we go. Tell you guys what I got, etc. But nothing else to do right now. Let's go. Start going around. Alright guys, we're back with the Bosch gun. We'll see how well that will work here. Let me wiggle this out real quick. Sealed in here, probably just with an O-ring, I would guess. There we go. Okay. And probably definitely want to replace this O-ring here while we got this out. And going down the road of fun. Let's keep going. Alright guys, well it turns out I was kidding myself here. It's way too cold in the garage, and it sounds like from talking with Josh, I'm gonna need a torch to get this properly hot to try to break this seal. I was just watching a video, shout out to Alex, Legit Street Cars. I was just watching his video on tearing down the M156. And on the M156 they have the same exact provision, but it goes all the way through to the oil pan and you use it to break the seal of the RTV. But on these, closer inspection, this actually doesn't go all the way through. They basically go right to the bottom here. I don't know if it's like something you can do, like if you drill it all the way out, then that's what it is for. But as of right now, the bolt just got stuck right at the bottom. It's not tapped all the way through. So SOL on that idea. So it sounds like this is the only, and seems like this is the only pry spot really. I mean, I guess you could, you know, use your oil drain bolts holes to pry as well. Probably wouldn't want to put like something metal in there, either like wood or plastic. But yeah, there, and there, I think are going to be the only real pry spots, because otherwise you're just going to gouge the aluminum on any other spot, because it's a very tight seal. I couldn't even fit a razor blade in between any of it from testing. So I'll be back. I don't even have a torch here. I know I got a torch over at my parents' place. So I think the plan is tomorrow I'll get this place nice and steaming hot with the space heater here, and then we'll bust out the torch and try to get this cracked. I knew this was going to be a task because, I mean, obviously they want to seal them on here pretty good, so they don't play around with the sealant they use, and it's been on there for a long time. So we got to get that sorted. Yeah, I wish I was really hoping I could get the pans torn off right now, and then tomorrow spend all my time scraping and cleaning and this and that, getting that one prepped and ready. But I don't think it's gonna happen. So I'll be back. Catch you guys tomorrow when you got some more time to do this. Oh, and real quick, just why not? Because I'll forget if I don't show you guys now. But I picked this up. This is a metal clutch alignment tool, and I just figured it'd be good to have one on hand to be able to reuse a bunch of times. I have the plastic ones, the Dorman ones. They work good, and the clutch was still aligned fine when we pulled everything apart, but I just feel like having the metal one is a little nicer and will last forever. So I'm sure this will not be my last 7/16 swap, and want to be able to do it right every single time. So this is from Kaiser Tool, and if I have a part number, I'll either pop it on screen or I'll link it below, or ask me if I forget. But yeah, cool little tool, able to pick up to replace our plastic ones and just have an extra. So anyways, see you guys tomorrow. Alright you guys, and just like that we are back, and I think I got a plan to get these oil pans off. Just got the room nice and hot with our space heater right here, kerosene for the win, and I have our propane torch over here, a little Benzomatic I borrowed from Mike. Map torch that we're going to use to try to break down some of this RTV and get this off, because there was no way it was budging, and I was not going to risk it trying to pry this when everything is cold. So I'm going to try to heat this up nice and good and then go for our pry method here. Alright guys, and apologies in advance, it's laundry day, so you're going to hear the laundry machine in the background. But anyways, let's go ahead and get this thing set up. And my big screwdriver right there ready to pry. I also have a bunch of our plastic razor blades. Probably not going to do much, to be honest, but it'll help us scrape things off afterwards. So we'll see what we got to do, but anyways. Alright guys, we made some really good progress off camera. I've got basically this whole side unsealed right now. I'm just working my way around slowly. I'm gonna heat this up again, try to get this side free, and we should be pretty close. Go. Sheesh. Alright, one down. Wasn't so bad with heat, but don't try it without heat, guys. There is no way you're getting that off. Man, alright. One pan down, the good pan. We gotta keep this one safe. Alright. So most of the bolts, like I suspected for this upper pan, are actually inside of it. So we're gonna need to kind of figure out what we need to do here to get all these off. And obviously we're gonna have a bit of a doozy up here with the broken part, but yeah, still quite a bit of oil in here actually. All right, this is gonna be, bit of an ordeal. Alright, bringing in here for a closer look at what I see now. I'm guessing most of everything you see is going to have to come off here. This top windage tray. Still a lot of oil sitting there in the corner. It's quite dirty, by the way, too. Just a lot of sludge right at the bottom of the pan. You can see how dirty bottom of this one is. So typical, I guess, of this age, the motor. But yeah, I'm guessing all of these bolts are gonna have to come off. Here's our pickup tube. So I'm not sure, I mean there's two pickup tubes, one here, one here. I'm not sure where the O-ring goes yet, so we shall see. And I thought there was gonna be a filter somewhere for this. Maybe it's hiding underneath all this stuff, I don't know. But yeah, you can see all the bolts going around, and we'll see if these are all different length. It looks like they might be, so I might be making a bit of a map here. But it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And then who knows if there's some hiding over there, and then obviously all the rest of them here. So yeah, anyways, a lot of bolts. So I'm gonna have my homework cut out for me right now to see what exactly I need to do here. So let me take some time and I'll catch back with you guys in a bit. Alright guys, just zipped off all the bolts. These are 10 millimeters. The smaller ones are E10s, and then there's two big, not big, but E14s on the corners here. E14s, or maybe E12s on the corners. So this should be able to come off now. Yes. Alright, leave that over here. Any more bolts underneath. This is all part of one assembly. I could probably just look at our other pan here, make it easier for myself. Yes, it looks like that. This could be a bit different. And it does in fact look a little bit different. So maybe that is what's different about the design of this. The windage tray. Everything else looks the same. So, I wonder. It's interesting. Yeah, everything else looks the same besides the windage tray design. Interesting. Well, hopefully that is gonna fit. The overall shape of it is the same, but definitely some differences there in the center. That corner looks different. I'm wondering if we're gonna have to be doing some cutting here, guys, because that, you can see that provision right there is different over here. What about the rest of it? Yeah, the rest of it looks the same, but this part definitely looks, I mean, this is obviously all different, but this part looks like it could be an issue as far as fitting goes. Well, let's see what we can do. Alright, you guys, we are back on it. It is a late night right now, but I want to get this upper oil pan off, so I'm going to do my best. Probably not going to film because it's going to be the same process as before, but basically heat this all up and try to find what pry points I can to slowly work this off. Now, I've been talking all day with buddies about a few things on this, and one thing in particular that I just cannot figure out is why is this design, this plastic piece right here. I've never seen that on any M113, like any M113. They're always normally a metal, like filter style pickup tube. Looks like a little UFO, but don't know why that is the case. And I'm also extremely curious if this is going to slide into place over this pump without modification. So let's get this off. Let's go ahead and I guess I'll time lapse you guys. No way. Yes, what? No way. All right. Awesome. How hot is this? Yes. Whew. Okay, guys. That was way easier than the lower pan. that dipstick spot made for a nice, easy pull spot, so that's cool. And good news is our rear man seal plate is good to go, so we don't need to touch that at all. Alright, let me bring you guys in for a good look here. Alright you guys, here she is. All our rods and crank, main caps and bearings and all the goodies at the bottom of an engine. From what I can see, everything looks good. Crank looks good. Things look fairly normal. So, no complaints. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see the cylinder walls. That would be a fun thing to see. Let me grab my light. Cylinder walls. Look pretty good. Do see some lines there, but probably nothing to worry about much. Let's find any other ones. You can see the little oiler tubes going to each piston. Let me see if I can put a finger down there and feel that on that cylinder wall right there. Alright, well I felt in there barely. Don't feel anything crazy, so don't think it's much to write home about. But anyways, let me wipe this off real quick and let's see if this thing is going to line up or not. Alright you guys, well, dun dun dun, it does not fit. But I think we can easily correct it. Basically it just needs to cut this section shorter. I mean I can notch it little by little I guess, or just cut out this whole section and should be good. Now I don't think, I'll have to check with Josh, but he would have sent it with it most likely. So I don't think there is another like tray like this one that sits on these. I'm guessing they're just open like this from factory with just this plate, but I'll ask him just to double check. But anyways, that is gonna mean we are done for the time being. I gotta cut this up tomorrow. I don't even have anything over here to cut this with. That won't take me a year, so I'll have to get a little cutoff wheel and bring that over here from my parents, or just go buy one because I need one, to be honest. And then yeah, after I do that, then we can actually get this thing to fit. This thing does feel heavier than the other one, by the way. Oh, maybe not. Okay, that was just my placebo effect. But anyways, yeah, not too big a deal. What we will need to do to get our oil pump O-ring out is, I believe, remove all the bolts for the oil pump. So I will double check. Shout out again, NorCal AMG sent me the photo earlier of what he had to remove. I believe it's these two bolts, this bolt, and maybe some of the other ones, maybe the little pickups here. But anyways, it's to get into there, basically, to get our O-ring out and replace that while we're in here. So well, I am kind of at a crossroads now, guys. If I'm going to go through the whole process of doing the front cover, then I got to order up the tools and parts that I'm going to need, like the crank pulley tool, and also shout out to that information I found earlier. If you guys need a crank pulley tool, there's actually a Ford one from CTA. It's CTA 1025, and it works phenomenally with the factory pulleys, and I think it'll even work with the M113K pulleys because it's not I don't know, you'll see once you see it, but it's basically just a disc with the correct tri prongs on it, and then you can stick whatever size socket attachment you want, so it can go whatever depth you want it to go, instead of, you know, the pulley options that are kind of weak, to be honest, and they don't work like the M113 doesn't work on the M113K one, and vice versa. So it's better to go with something like that. So the CTA 1025, it's designated as like a Ford tool, but it works on the M113s, and it's like $30 versus $100, $200, depending on what tool you get. So, and CTA brand, great tools. So that, if I'm going to go down this rabbit hole, I need that tool, I need a new bolt, I need to decide if I'm going to replace this pulley. This one feels good, to be honest, but if I'm in there, could. Shout out to the company that I'm talking with right now, which I'll tell you guys later if it ends up going through, but they are possibly going to be making pulleys, and we're going to be working together to make those pulleys, because the aftermarket is non-existent for the NA AMG pulleys, which is so silly. The regular M113 pulleys, M112 pulleys are literally $70, $100. These right here, only option you got is a factory one, and they're like $700, $800, $900. It's insane. So I am trying to work with a company right now to have them make custom ones that do not need the rubber ring, that are serviceable, and basically half of that cost. So around the $500 mark, and really nice pieces, steel pieces with aluminum outer rings that you can also like customize diameter or weight or whatever. So I think that's a way better long-term option, but it's basically a crossroads, because you guys can't see me, because if I'm going to decide to do that, I'm basically committing myself to a lot longer time, which is okay. I was really excited to try to get this thing done by Christmas, but it's probably not going to happen now regardless. So do I just take the time and go to the whole front cover and do the crank pulley and everything else? And then the thought crosses in my head of, well, if I'm doing the crank pulley, I might as well just put an M113K crank pulley on it. And that way, that part of the job is done. I can do the keyway, everything. I can, you know, key the crank properly, drill it while it's out. And that way this thing could be ready for some boost later on, because the M113K pulleys are exactly the same as these. They just have another ring on them to spin the supercharger. So I don't know. I am honestly torn, you guys, but I think that should probably do it for this video right here, guys, because otherwise I'm just going to be recording on and on and on. So I think we will leave it there. Tore down the oil pans, figured out a lot of information, and next thing up is our oil pump O-ring, which is the, you know, the great like myth and urban legend with these things. Mostly started from XF Motorsports back in the day, which it's a true thing, so I'm not like making fun by any means, but I think it's a bit overhyped, especially on the NA motors. I do not think it's as much of an issue as it is on the M113Ks. However, due to their age now and mileage, it's not a bad idea to do them, obviously, if you're here. So we're gonna do it, and then it comes down to the timing cover O-rings. So a lot to think about, guys. A lot to think about, a lot to consider. I'm looking forward to your guys' kind of opinions or suggestions or questions, comments, concerns, whatever. But I'm really happy to be at this point. At least I was a bit worried when I first tried to pry the lower pan off, because that thing was not budging, but this is smooth now. I know how to do it now. I learned, so that's exactly why we're here. We're here to learn. So that is cool. A lot of positives right now. I'm not looking at any of this as a negative, so we're just taking our time, going through it, and learning as much as we can, as always. So Let me know if you guys got any suggestions. Like I said, comment down below. Look forward to talking with you guys. Thank you for watching as always, and I will catch you guys on the next update, whatever it ends up being. Peace.